morning, guys. It's Jeff with HKS Systems Lock Safe. Hope you're doing well. I'm just going to do a quick overview of a couple lock bodies and show you what I think about them and show you why I think that. So this was the first one I have is the Ilco made this. This is the safe lock I took out of the Gardall depository safe that I opened last week. It had issues with the dial drifting and the combination due to sticking flies. I did discuss that last week in the video. You can see, problem is these are pretty inexpensive, made in I think China is where they made these. Cheap pot metal and overall not very good. You could see very little use as far as no brass or anything. Everything's pretty much cheap pot metal. Even the case is like a cheap aluminum or something, but not very good quality in my opinion. Not very good quality. It ran fine for what it was. It's just like a lot of things, it's made to last you 5 years, maybe 10 years. They never had it serviced, so that was probably their first fault. He could have got probably another 5 or 10 years out of it if he would have had it serviced, but he didn't. So failure. I'm not going to try to rebuild something that's this poor a quality. The next one is the Sargent and Greenleaf. This is sort of the one that everybody tries to knock off. This is the higher end version of it. You can usually tell that by the wheels and flies are brass. Some of the cheaper ones, they will use the pot metal stuff. So at the end of the day, it's all cheap. Whatever you're trying to do, if you're trying to mass produce and you could shave a couple cents off, they do it. But this is their higher end one. You could tell they silver solder the system here for the fence, brass, pretty nice spring, and brass bolt as well. And then this is the one I've been using. I used to be a big reseller of the Sargent and Greenleaf. I always thought they were the best, but they've sort of priced themselves quite a bit out of the game now, so unfortunately I need to find a better product, or at least a cheaper product that's comparable in quality and performance. And this is what I've been using. It's the Big Red safe locks. I don't know if they're imported. I think they're imported as well, but they do have some nice technology. First of all, you could obviously see the nice aluminum and machined wheels, brass where it needs to be, the lever arm and nose and fence section that seems to be out of aluminum, but it's nice and light for one thing, and they have a pretty robust spring on there, so even if it's mounted upside down, it creates less tension on it than a regular brass one would be. Just from weight, you know, it's not much, but it is a pretty big difference in long-term use, that there's a lot less weight against this than there is against the brass. It's just heavier. But then the parts that count are obviously the actual driver section. And you know, the parts that count are still brass. So you got the relocker, just like the other guys have. His I took out, I was working on him for something. Brass bolt, brass screw for the bolt attachment, and they actually have a pretty neat thing that they use the brass inside, but they actually have a patent of some kind where they make it so these wheels are guaranteed not to slip. I've never had an issue with them. I've heard some people say that they've had issues, but it's a very similar design, but something they've done where they make it so this doesn't drift. The wheels wouldn't come unlocked and then cause drifting of the dial and number. So anyways, to me, I think it's a much better brand. It's cheaper. It's about half the cost of the other one. So at the end of the day, if it's going to make a better product and cheaper, I'm going to try to sell it. So if you need service for that, please give us a call. HKS Systems Lock and Safe, 847-204-7046. I'm out of Mchenry County, Illinois. I know I always say that. I do this sort of as getting my Google rankings up, as well as informing the general public. But If you're not in my area, I will put the SAFTA site link down in my description. You could take that and plug in your zip code, and it'll tell you people in your area that can help you with lock related problems for safe work. If you need service for us though, we're in Mchenry County. We do a 25-mile zone radius pretty much. That's what we like to stick at. Give us a call. HKS Systems Lock and Safe, 847-204-7046. Thanks, guys.